Hola, nice to meet you. My name is Norbert, and I am founder of Nightly and Synthetify. Today I will be talking mostly about Nightly Connect, which is a new way of connecting decentralized applications to basically your wallet. But first of all, I would love to ask, like, who is a developer or who is working in DevTech? Okay, and who is working with blockchain? Oh, so we have some hands. So this might be useful for you. Oh, no problem. So check it out. Quick story. We started building Nightly as a wallet extension. Then obviously our roadmap was to include a mobile wallet. And then we transitioned to Nightly Connect, and all of those products are concurrently produced and pushed forward. And we'll be focusing on Nightly Connect. So currently, you guys are probably familiar with like connecting to decentralized application. You have like selector of your wallets. I mostly come from like Solana or like other more performant blockchains. So if this is not familiar to you, this is like Solana, Polkadot, and Near. But on EVM, it works pretty much the same. You also have like selector, but in most of the cases, you are using something like Wallet Connect or Uniswap Wallet or MetaMask directly, something like this. So this is probably something familiar for you, and you just pick the wallet that mostly fits you or you like the best. On mobile, the stuff gets tricky, and most popular way currently is just embedding a browser inside the wallet. And what it does is basically creates a inside your mobile wallet, there's basically a full-fledged browser that then you can use to interact with any kind of applications. So first problem with that is that this is not a browser that you are familiar with using, like Chrome or Safari. So a lot of stuff is often bugged. And on the other hand, every time you do something, you got to get to the wallet. And when you want to, let's say you did your stuff, I don't know, you traded some tokens, and you want to get outside back to the Safari or to, I don't know, Facebook or something like that. You need to close your wallet and go back, and you don't have history and etc. So it's not as a pleasant experience as you might expect, because like you are getting out of the of native browser extension or browser. And here we have like this is a phantom example. So what we are basically building is a Nightly Connect, and this aims to basically unify and solve majority of those problems, mostly related with like mobile support, but also if you are talking about more of like security or like usability and accessibility of interacting with wallets, since in my opinion, like majority of the stuff is moving to like mobile phone. So extensions are rather, like 2017-16 vibe, and more of the wallets are going to be just mobile. So alternative way of connecting, like even like the stuff that you have on your PC or you are connecting, let's say, with Uniswap, you should be doing it via QR code, and your main wallet should be like your mobile phone. It's much more secure, and the user experience is, in my opinion, is way better than if we are talking with extensions. And of course, like extensions by itself is usually something that slows down the browser. The experience is often, gets into the way of just interacting with anything. So in a nutshell, how it works. So you keep the standard way of interaction. So we have like those on the right side. You have like detected wallets, and those detected wallets are extensions, right? So using the wallet adapter, we are automatically detecting the potential extensions that you already have on your browser, and that way you don't need to look for them, or even if you install the new ones, the app should automatically detect them, and you don't need to scroll down and look for them and check if they are even installed by the decentralized application. And this is most of the cases like something that is already done in most of the application. Sometimes there is some tricky stuff, especially on like EVM chains. But on Solana, Sui, that kind of stuff, it works really well, in my opinion. The other stuff that we are moving is a mobile support, right? So this is where everything, experience struggles a little bit. And our main selling point is to, for wallets, is to not implement any kind of browser. So what you are actually implementing is just simple interface that you are communicating. So if you imagine that a wallet has extension, interacting with decentralized application would be in similar way using a mobile experience, right? So we are providing the interfaces, the API, the infrastructure for doing all of this. And if you already have like extension API, implementing a mobile API is basically the same stuff, just copy and paste. And how it works, on the right side, there is like a cute nightly logo with how the modal will pop up when we want to connect to the wallet. And after we click it, we basically are redirected to full-fledged application that you are probably installed, or you can check or go to the App Store to install this. This wallet, I will be showing it in a second in like, some weird form, but you guys going to check it out, how it works and how it feels. And yeah, so the mobile support basically relies on two things, like deep links and QR codes, right? And using both of those, we get to like native Web2 experience in terms of like connectivity. And especially if we think that our sessions are persisted. So for example, you refresh the page, you will get to the same point after you refresh the page. So the sessions are persisted, so you don't have to like relog, rescan, reconnect, all of the stuff. That's pretty much a lot of time confusing, and it takes your time because you again need to connect the wallet, approve something, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so let me share some demo. Okay, so I will be using Solana as example. As you guys see, there is no extension installed on this browser, but this is not the case. We are not going to be looking at the extension. More of the stuff is like how it basically connects with the app. So I will be opening like my wallet. Okay, so here's like my Solana wallet, and basically what I do is scan the QR code. It should be working, or I just use the view here. Okay, so after you scan the QR code, you get the notification that hey, you do you want to connect? You get the name, you get the information that's provided by the application, and after you connect, you basically instantly get a view on a website. We can, basically refresh the page. Or how do we refresh the page? Up. And we should get back to the basically the same state, right? So we don't need to, rescan the QR code. It's already there. And if I click like some action here, I will be getting a notification, right? And after I confirm, I should get a pop-up right here. So this is basically a stuff that we are looking for, and this is like the alternative way of using extension, right? So we are moving the extension to the mobile phone, and I think it's more convenient in every way to use a phone instead of the extension. Yeah, there's some tricky parts where you want to copy paste some stuff or do some other cases like sending multiple transactions, mobile can be clunky. But if you are talking directly about the interactions with decentralized applications, I think this is much more convenient and also way more secure. Also, if we are talking about like storing the secret phrases, storing them in like browser in an extension is really close to like potential vulnerabilities. It's just one bug of Chrome away from basically website reading your local storage, right? And in local storage basically are all your secret keys. Whereas on mobile, it's way harder. Usually the keys are encrypted in encrypted storage on mobile phones, and the applications that are inside the mobile devices are usually tested, and the overall system is way more secure. So this is something that I would be rather targeting. Where's the like present? Oh. Okay, so in a nutshell, what we are like kind of combining, right? So there's a case of like wallets don't need to be necessarily installed on your iPhone or your other device, and we kind of need to provide you with a way of detecting, showing what wallets are supported and how the interactions works. Because in most of the cases, if we put like Web2 user to Web3 application, he sees like a wallet connect, MetaMask or something like that. He clicks and MetaMask is not installed, or even there is just direct error, right? So in our cases, we are aggregating like a wallet registry that's actually implementing this this interface, and in that way, basically all of the wallets that are supporting it can insert their entry, and by that they basically get a like every time somebody opens the selector, they will be stored. I will be showing. Yeah. So on the first screen, like in a first part of the wallets, we have like the wallets are selected automatically or like detected by the selector, and on second half we can scroll down, and those are wallets that are committed to the API, but are not installed by the user. So still in that front, if there is some specific subset of wallets that support this specific blockchain or this specific feature, those could be also like filtered out. Yeah, so we are not like committed to one strict API, but we can also like filter out based on the features. Yeah, so how does it work like on more backend side? This is not magic, that the messages need to go through somewhere, and this is not, it's using cloud, right? So we can use term a cloud, but basically we're running like relay service in the background. So the messages are not going directly to like your phone, they are going to a cloud, and then your mobile phone is basically fetching them. Why we do that? This is the simplest way of like transferring any kind of information, and this is basically how the Web2 is built on, right? So if you are using Facebook, Instagram, wherever, this is how the stuff works. So we are still in that front, so nothing new. And if you are talking about the Web3, this is something new, right? No one is necessarily doing it that way, and what it creates is that you get the experience of like Web2 with applications that are based on Web3. In a more detail, we have a Rust server in the cloud that's basically relaying the messages, and applications and clients are connecting to it directly. And if we have like two clients connected, in the same time, we can relay the message. And if, for example, one side is not connected, we can fall back to some other mechanism. If we are using mobile, we'll be fallbacking to deep links. And if you are using some kind of mix of PC and mobile, then we probably will be fallbacking on to push notifications, right? So using this selector, you automatically get a push notifications, right? So the wallets that are inside there don't need to do anything. The push notification just works, right? So we are providing full infrastructure for that. And also it's generic, right? So we are already supporting a lot of blockchains. Most popular is probably Solana, LF0, and Sui, and we are constantly expanding to other blockchains. Just because the entire infrastructure is generic, it's really easy to add new blockchains. Everything is open source, so you can just, for example, if you are running your own blockchain, you can just create a PR, and if we decide like, hey, this is good stuff, we can kind of merge it and use it that way, or you can, let's say fork it and just create your own package that doesn't care. And if you actually don't change any kind of like API or Rust code, you can even use our relay servers, even with your own like packages, right? So this is I think also like powerful tool for developers, because like especially newer blockchains, the API often change. So you might decide on something, change it, tweak it some way, and updating constantly the package, it's not necessarily a good thing, or you want to, do it on your own. So this is a great way of getting started. We just provide the infrastructure, and how you use it, it's completely depend on you. Here's like, I wanted to show like implementation, but instead of like just like code, I will be showing you like our docs. So how's for example, implementation looks like on Solana or on Sui. It's really easy, and we make it as simple as possible, just because, adding a new selector, new like way of connecting is probably not something that developers want to focus on. So we are drafting the SDKs to be as simple as possible. Okay, so I highlighted basically entire stuff that you need to do to connect to add a selector to a Solana application, right? All of the other stuff is usually something that you already have in your Solana application, because you are using some basic stuff or SDK, or some wallet provider that is built by the Solana. So we want to fit into that API, so you don't need to change a lot of stuff. You just need to change it a little bit. And yeah, so this is like, 10, 11 lines with formatting. And you can provide basically your icons, names, everything, and you can dynamically change it, right? So if you decide like, hey, we changed the icon, we changed the name, you don't need to ask me or selector or wherever to do it. It just happens, right? Because every piece of information is embedded inside the QR code, or maybe QR code and the session that start on the relay server. But this is really, really easy to get started. And also you can use it in like standalone way. So instead of like, adding some external solution, like adding wallets one by one, or, relying on some other tools, you just get this, and you get full support for deep links, mobile support, sessions, and also like extensions, right? So instead of like pointing developers to choose between us or already existing extension, you get both of those words, right? So we are building on a stuff that is already there. We don't want to make any kind of sacrifices. So using us, you are not sacrificing any kind of extension. Most of the extensions don't need to do anything to be implemented by us. They just work. And then on top of that, you get a mobile support, QR code, sessions, that kind of stuff. So it's really, really pleasant in terms of developer experience. And since this tool is mostly targeted to like developers. This is our group take, right? Most of the users don't care about how it, works under the hood or how it's implemented by the application. It needs to work fast, quick, and be as simple as possible. Yeah, so this was, let's say, demo time of like code. Yeah, so that's pretty much it in terms of like what I wanted to show you. Definitely check it out on your mobile phone. You can download the Nightly Wallet on iOS, on Android, and just go to like example.com or other applications, especially on Solana, to try it out. We'll be rolling out to newer blockchains over time. And I hope this is going to be like a major way of interacting with decentralized application. And also, it's probably in the future, it's not only going to be used by just the Nightly Wallet, but also other wallets are going to be applying to the standard that we created. Yeah, so here's our socials, our Twitter, and also mine Twitter. Go check it out. I'm mostly tweeting about the dev stuff or trusting other blockchains than Solana. But yeah, thank you. That's it. We might have some time for questions. Anyone? Like, if you. Okay, so this is the question that usually the investors are getting. Yeah, so first of all, you don't need to do anything, right, to get, let's say, started with us. I don't have slide with like code, but the docs I showed you, there is no like project ID or session ID or anything like that. It just works, right? Yeah, so we start with like it just works. So this is like my idea. Of course, probably in the future there's going to be something like this for like bigger applications, right? But this is a make case. Other case are sessions, right? This is not something that is supported by the Wallet Connect. I think by default, at least I did not experience it. So you can refresh the page and you are getting back to the state that you were, right? Yeah, so once you connected to a website, you are staying connected until you click disconnect, right? Yeah, there is also like time to live for a session, like 2 weeks or something like that. But this is set up by us, but it doesn't really matter. The matter is like if you go to the website, 10 times a day, you don't need to connect 10 times, right? And this is something that is actually happening, constantly on EVM, especially on EVM, right? 1 second. And the third thing. Are push notifications, right? I am not aware of any kind of wallet that is supporting a push notification related to like Wallet Connect. Just because the Wallet Connect implementation of push notification is not actually safe. And so you are providing a Wallet Connect with your keys. So if there is a data leak or something like that, you are on a risk, right? In our case, we're using some, I don't want to call this a webhook, but it works basically as a webhook. So you are, giving us like endpoint that we are calling with a payload, and what you do with this payload is on your own, right? So if you want to do a push notification on your own, you are doing it. But if you want to cache it, send it somewhere, scan it through like some scam, yeah, go ahead. It's free for you. And in that front, everything is, let's say, stored by you. We are just calling endpoint with a payload. So in my opinion, it's much simpler for a wallet to implement, and it's also easy to manipulate, update, fix, or even from a security point of view, it's way safer. Yes, but the Ethereum is not so much forgiving, and also there is, as I mentioned, like there is a competition, right? So why would anybody, kind of choose us over a Wallet Connect? That is basically, like something that is Wallet Connect is focusing on. They're not focusing on Solana or other blockchains. They're focused on Ethereum, right? So right now, are in a position that, hey, we are not competing directly, or I hope that we kind of, first of all, grab the market on other blockchains, like as I mentioned, that the newer ones that don't have completely this infrastructure, and Wallet Connect is definitely not going there because they are so bind to the Ethereum that it's really hard for them to kind of scope it out. They probably need to rewrite everything from scratch to get it out. Whereas in our front, I wrote everything from scratch to be as generic as possible. So as I mentioned, if somebody is committed to like writing an Ethereum, he can do it like even without our knowledge. He will be just leveraging their our relay server and just add some layers of abstractions as wallets are providing to do it. Yeah, so this was Figma, right? But this is also like something that we are kind of probably aiming for, because like it's not that difficult for us to do it. But this is just a essence of like parity, right? So once we decide like, hey, Ethereum is something that we want to go, we're going to do it. But for now, we have other priorities, and it's much easier to get the market share, whereas there is no competition. And at some point, we're probably going to clash.